Game number 2, getting started now. It is on Acheron Waste. Post in the chat what you think is going to happen in game number 2. I want to see what strategy by StarNaN, what strategy is going to be used by PiG, and your favorite ice cream flavor. Go. So game number 2, starting us out down in the bottom right-hand side is our purple Protoss player playing for Western Wolves. He is a very, very talented Protoss player, no doubt about that. It is StarNaN. StarNaN? Whatever works. Up at the top left-hand side as our blue Zerg player. Did I color him red in the bar thing? Yes, I did. I'm sorry. Oh, wait, no, he was red in the previous game. Anyway, as our blue Zerg player, changing his color here just to be really annoying for me, it is PiG. See all sorts of people waking up. Cookies and cream, I like that. 7 pool from Old Lady with vanilla. Oh, the oldie, sorry. Somehow I read that as old lady. Vanilla? Really? Vanilla ice cream? I don't know about that. Oh, it is a very cold morning here. Is anyone else in Melbourne? And is anyone else really cold? Looks like we will get another gateway expand from StarNaN. High flux. I would say it's probably going to be a pretty similar game from StarNaN in terms of a gateway expand. I obviously doubt he's going to do a Sentry Blink based build on this map, but it looks as if PiG is going to change his strategy up this time, playing a little bit safer, goes for the pull first. We'll see the hatchery get started soon as well, with the drone now on the way down to the natural. So this map can be a little bit favorable at times for Protoss players, just because you can set up a third base, get that Nexus going as your third, and then drop down the rocks over here, sit in a very comfortable position where you can't really be attacked, get up to 3 bases, Void Rays and Colossi and all those kinds of things that can come out. And it just gets a little bit difficult at times. But that said, Zerg players can have a lot of fun too. They can do their own turtle style. The old Swarm Host Turtle has been seen a little bit now and then. What was the change? They were considering a change to deal with the Swarm Host Turtle style or something like that because it was too boring. I can't remember what it was though. Anyway, and PiG is actually just going to head across. He's going to take his, get ready to take his third hatchery as well. In fact, there you go. So he's going to head across and take that very quickly yet again. So yet another blind, well, not necessarily blind, but he does have a little bit of vision, but a very quick third hatchery there, despite not having any gas coming in to protect his third base by getting up some metabolic boost. PiG is going to take his third base here, and he's going to be in a reasonable sort of economic position, but it will depend on him defending that third base. So Ling's just scouting through. They're going to keep an eye on what's going on. See that there is only the 1 gas inside the main base of StarNaN, trying to pick off one of the probes, unfortunately not able to get it. The looks like the first Zealot now also coming out. So StarNaN is going to expand in a normal sort of fashion. There is a probe heading up, okay, it's just heading to the Zolnaga Watchtower. It was heading in a weird direction. It was going up this way, and I'm like, where are you going, sir? But the third hatchery now on the way, PiG with an Overlord, just to scout out if there's anything fishy going on here. Natural hatchery, operational. Couple Lings going to pop out. Some drones also on the way. And 3 more gates, yet again from StarNaN. So he is looking similar to the previous game, but no double gas inside the main. So we're not going to see any Twilight Council shenanigans for the time being. He's just going to try and get his economy rolling. And PiG is, it looks as if he should be okay, at least for the time being. But the one problem is with 4 gates up, a Protoss player can be very threatening when it comes to a Zerg with a very quick third. So we'll see how PiG's going to deal with that. He does have the 1 gas inside the main base, a Roach Warren on the way, nicely timed out so that he will be protected against any 4-gate pushes that may come along. And a Stargate is going to start out for StarNaN. So it looks as if he will be going for a reasonably standard sort of play here, StarNaN, in game number 2, just making sure that he is in a favourable position. Probe comes through and actually throws down a pylon, going to dance away from those lings, and the pylon in that position is quite, that is going to be quite threatening, but Pig on the ball with his scouting is going to see that there. 7 roaches on the way, 8 lings are also being built right now, and we'll see how much damage this can do, because StarNaN is going to be able to warp in a few zealots here. He's got 4 already out. The roaches are now just here as well to protect Pig against this incoming attack. One of the queens in a little bit of an exposed position, but she's going to target down that mothership core and try and take care of that very quickly. And as the zealot count increases, this does start to get a little bit scary here for Pig. He needs to be very careful, needs to dance away from those roaches, and that's one thing which can be quite troublesome, is that time warp. So Pig is a little bit supply blocked right now. That is really unfortunate there for the Zerg player. It looks as if StarNaN is going to get a couple of kills here. Not badly done with all of these zealots. He's warping in more units right now. The zealots come across. The lings want to try and kill off that pylon, but unfortunately for Pig is not going to be able to take that down. So the third base in a little bit of trouble right now. Pig coming across, he's saying, come at me, I'm trying to get your pylon. And as the roach count increases, this starts to lose some of its potency. And yeah, very nicely done by Pig. He's forced the units back. StarNaN forced to head back home with a recall. So Pig keeps his third base alive. He does suffer a little bit in the economy. As we can see, his drone count is sitting at 38, so not exactly where you would want it to be, but he did have to deal with this pressure, and he survived the pressure, looking pretty decent. So Phoenixes have come out for StarNaN. As we can see, he's going to start to control a little bit of the map there, getting some map vision back for himself. And Pig, as we can see, is assembling for just a little push on the front door. I doubt he's going to actually try and knock anything down, but upon losing a couple of overlords, it's not going to be too good for him. But now we can see that Pig is going to be able to go to town on these pylons here. That could really help out his cause if he does want to try and push into this. Pig trying to keep the units back. He doesn't want to let those lings get trapped, but they do get trapped inside. Zealots easily disposing of them, and with a couple of pylons going down, StarNaN should be able to repower the gates, but will it be in time? Because the roaches are knocking on those gates. They take one down, and the Void Raid comes across to save the day. So Pig getting a little bit of counter damage done by his own roaches and the units that he built there to stop StarNaN from getting too much damage done. So not too badly done. Worker count is back up to 54. So we're in a position where Pig has again gotten a really nice amount of damage done based on the units that he had to build. We can see back at home for StarNaN, a robo on the way. That's I love when people build them like right at the bottom of the ramp. It's like someone standing in the way when you're trying to get on a train, and they're like standing in the door, and it's like, can you please get out of the way, you crazy fool? But +1 to weapons on the way for StarNaN at this point. Looking pretty good with those upgrades. Pig is now just getting his Hydra Den and the Evo Chamber. StarNaN going to take a third base. So it does look like he is going to move along for a normal sort of macro game, but weirdly taking this base. I am a little bit puzzled about taking that. It's not as if he didn't have any units to knock down the destructible rocks. He's decided to take this one just to be a little bit different here today. The Void Ray, Mr. Void Ray, you need to get out there and get some damage done, because that's all that you're for at this point. Phoenix is microing about, trying to find a little bit of a sweet spot inside the main base, but nicely positioned Spore Crawler here from Pig forces them back for the moment. And he is now going to move up in his tech path. We've got the Hydralisk Groove Spines on the way. +1 to missile attacks, Infestation Pit also coming through. And as we can see, Pig is now scouted out that the third base is being erected here at this base. And we'll have to see how StarNaN is going to maneuver from here, because he does have a little bit of tech available. But Pig, I mean, he's getting himself quite a lot of time to get his economy up. And with 23 drones just hatching now, that takes Pig to a total of 86 drones out on the map. So his economy is going to be sitting in a wonderful position. 4 bases just about to be up and running here for the Australian Zerg player. We can see back at home, StarNaN researching the extended thermal lance. The Stargate has finished producing anything, and the Twilight Council is now about to come about. So it is looking very much like we are going to go to what could be a long-distance macro game, with Pig researching some enduring locusts here. Aspire also on the way. His +1 to missile attacks just about to finish up. And we'll see how he wants to play this. You know, It is certainly an option on this map to play the Swarm Host static defense style, and he is about to get some Swarm Hosts out, and with the muscular augments on the way for the Hydras, that's going to give him the mobility and the ability to move about the map. So what we will need to see here from Pig is some good creep spread, which has already started. We've got 4 tumors working out this way, a couple also coming down this way as well, so he will need to be careful about any sort of units coming about trying to clear out the creep spread. But once these Swarm Hosts getting to a nice high number, it is something which I have seen Pig do a couple of times, using this the Swarm Host turtle style. 13 more drones now on the way for Pig. He's got a couple of Hydras down here. You may be wondering, what are these Hydras for? These are for deflecting warp prisms that might try and come in the back. This is one thing which a lot of Protoss players try and utilize to deal with the Swarm Host turtle style, is to try and use warp prisms to dive around the map, drop in some DT, some zealots inside your opponent's main base, or their natural, or their third, or something like that, and try and abuse the immobility of the Swarm Host, which of course are a little bit of an immobile unit. It's very akin to playing mech as a Terran player. You have these very powerful units in the fact that they can just do continuous damage there with those locusts, but they do need a little bit of time to burrow and unburrow and all those kinds of things. So StarNaN, he should have seen what is going on by now. He will see the hive coming through. There is a spire as well, along with an infestation pit, but Pig's Swarm Host count has gone up quite a lot. He's up to 11. We have quite a decent total, and the static defense now starts up. We've got spines all over the place coming up from Pig, making sure that he's protected on the ground. Some roaches and hydras just moving about, trying to capture any of those observers that he can find. He will also catch this zealot down here at the bottom left base as well. So Pig, continuing on with this style, is just going to... it's sort of a style where you kind of whittle down your opponent slowly but surely. Of course, it is a very sort of slow, methodical style, but it gets the job done. That's the thing about this kind of thing. And as long as you anticipate the Protoss transitions and those kinds of things, it is a very strong style, and it is one thing which some Protoss players will have quite a lot of trouble dealing with. So StarNaN, let's have a look at his side of the map. We've got +3 on the weapons now, researching, and Immortal coming out just to add in a little bit more firepower in his forces. There is also a second robo just across to the side, so +2 on the, 2 Immortals coming out at a time. Void Rays being added in by StarNaN. Triple Stargate across at the main base here. Extra gates being added in. What I would like to see is a Dark Shrine. I am missing a Dark Shrine here from StarNaN. If he wants to be able to get some really good attack damage done, he needs to be able to have Warp Prisms, bringing in DTs and Zealots and that kind of thing. There is a Proxy Pylon just up here as well, but as we can see in the main battle, StarNaN now has a reasonable count of Void Rays coming out. He's got 2 Colossi on the ground, but Pig has moved forward. We've got the static defense. The turtle style has now moved up. We've got lots of static defense at the front, protecting the Swarm Hosts at the back. We can see the Spore Crawlers also making their way through, and Pig is just moving forward. I love watching this kind of style. It's really cool to watch sometimes. And Evo Chambers at the back. What are these for, you crazy fool Pig? Well, they are for buffets. We see the Vipers now out. All-you-can-eat buffet back here with these Evo Chambers, able to chomp on those evolution chambers. The Vipers will be very happy with that. It's like going to Smorgies, and it's not like going to Smorgies. That'd be disgusting. But Roaches, a couple of Hydras, and some Queens going to tear down the rocks here at the attempted 4th base of StarNaN. I am not sure how long this is going to last, because the Swarm Hosts are now going to have free reign to push in there. It's also very important to see that the energy units of Pig are just grouping together. You need to keep them you need to be very on the ball with them. You need to abduct, you need to blinding cloud, you also need to fungal it as well to keep all sorts of units back from the, well, as we can see, the Vipers are trying to stay away. Was that an abduct on an observer? I think it was. Wow, that's kind of crazy from Pig, but we do see a Warp Prism now making its way across the map. This is exactly what you do need to do if you are faced with this kind of style, but Pig is already in a very strong position here, as we can see. Buffet Chambers, that's an awesome idea, Flux, but Pig is going to have to deal with a lot of Void Rays. There are also some Colossi on the ground, but I mean, it's kind of nothing when you've got all these Swarm Hosts. The Infestors are out now as well, Spore Crawlers, Spine Crawlers, all the crawlers you need. and we'll see how StarNaN is going to deal with this. He is going to try and drop in. There are those two Hydras. We mentioned it before. Hydra's just about to try and deflect any kinds of Warp Prism harassment that might try and come through. And as we can see, the slow, methodical push, it's like the red weed in War of the Worlds. It just slowly creeps its way through. And as we can see, StarNaN does have those Templar out. Templar very useful for their feedbacks against things like the Vipers and the Infestors. But the problem with the Templar is that if the Swarm Hosts are timing out their Locust, what do you call them? The Locust salvos correctly, then the Templar are always kept back, because they cannot proceed when there are Locusts in front of them. As we can see here, the Locust pushing a Swarm Host ahead, and looks like StarNaN is about to push forwards. He knows that there is a little bit of weakness now that the Swarm Hosts have launched their Locusts into the 4th base. Templar coming across, feedbacks on some of the Vipers, nicely done there by StarNaN, but other Vipers at the back trying to get some work done. A Blinding Cloud on some of the Void Rays, which unfortunately does not do too much work there, and StarNaN is counter-pushing against his opponent. The Spore Crawlers are very useful here to delay StarNaN, but we'll see if he is able to just push back. The laser party is going on right now. It's a European disco, as there are just lasers everywhere. Void Rays firing their prismatic beams all over the place, but Fungal Growth's on top. Nicely done by PiG. He's trying to hold his opponent back, and that is a very unfortunate series of events there for PiG. He lost all of his static defenses and quite a lot of his Swarm Hosts. So he is now going to transition into Mutas. 11 Mutas on the way. He does not have any air... Oh, he does, sorry. He does have +2 on his air upgrades here. So he is safely able to switch across into an air tech. And we see that those the buffet chambers have not been... destroyed just as of yet, but 15 Mutas are now on the way. The Warp Prism just up at the top side is going to try and come in, drop down some Zealots here. It looks like he will be able to get some of them inside. The Hydra's having to deal with the Zealots there, and nothing else is ready for StarNaN, because for PiG, sorry, because the Zealots are now inside. Once again, I do kind of question the lack of DTs, but I mean, we'll see how much damage he's able to get, because the Hydra's now coming through. It looks like PiG will be quite safe for the moment, and well, speaking of quite safe, the Colossi now marching their way across the map. These guys do have some pretty damn decent upgrades. They've got 1 shields and 3 on their attacks, so StarNaN is looking pretty good. I would like to see a couple more upgrades come out from him, but PiG trying to reassemble his forces. We've got some more Swarm Hosts out, we've got more Locusts, a couple, well, just the 1 Viper, but a lot of, let's just say that's a lot of Mutalisks. 26, is that a lot? Vote in the chat if you think that's a lot of Mutalisks. I'd say it's a lot. That's where you need Templar and that kind of thing for. So PiG will have to deal with the Templar. He's going to have to evade these guys. Storm has been researched by StarNaN, so he is ready for that kind of thing. And interestingly, he does have +1 air weapons and armor as well. But there are no Phoenix on the field. Like, apart from the initial Phoenix that StarNaN built earlier on in the game, there is no other anti-air presence up in the sky. So no Phoenix available for StarNaN at the moment. And as you can see, PiG is now moving across. A few of his Swarm Hosts did survive the initial battle, and feedback's going down on those Infestors a little bit quicker than the Fungals are able to come out from the Infestors. So PiG is just assembling a large air force now, just proceeding down through the center of the map. +3 to his air attack is also being researched right now. We'll see what damage he is able to get done, because there is absolutely no defense here for StarNaN. We'll see if he is able to bring some of the Templar back. They might be very handy at defending from these Mutas, but the Mutas so far have been undetected. In fact, no, I am incorrect. It looks as if StarNaN did see them. PiG went past one of the I think it's a pylon in the middle. We'll check it out in a second. But StarNaN losing his Void Rays all over the place now. Where are the Storms? There they are. Couple of big Storms on top of the Mutas, but of course they do regen at an incredible rate. But now the Phoenix are out. StarNaN will need to pick up a Fleet Beacon if he can, so he can get that Onion Crystals going. Everyone loves a bit of Fleet Bacon with some Onion Crystals, but PiG is going to continue on this pressure. Muta's doing a little bit of damage at this 4th base. The Phoenix coming about from StarNaN. He's going to look to try and throw down a Storm, and PiG all up in that Storm. Storms all over the place. It is absolutely incredible what's going on, but the Mutaflock has been decimated by StarNaN there, and he doesn't even need to build any more Phoenix at this point. But 11 Swarm Hosts have good transition from PiG. He's going to switch back into the Swarm Host style, maybe try and establish this position yet again, because up across at the right-hand side of the map, we can see some Hydras trying to do some damage, but PiG has not been able to establish his own 5th base. He is now going to be a sort of a I suppose it's a two base Zerg against a you know, a sort of effective 1.5 base Protoss. So it's sort of a little bit of an old sort of hat battle right now, just given that both the players are not mining as much as they'd want to be. As we can see, harvester count sitting at 66 for StarNaN and 62 drones out for PiG. So PiG is getting this 5th base established. He's got that up and running, but will he be able to deal with the counter-attacks of StarNaN? Because he's now looking to set up a 6th base, or I suppose that's actually a 5th base now, but a 5th base at the top right-ish edge of the map, right? And we'll see if he's going to re-establish this one. I don't know why he hasn't, but lots of Phoenix now out. PiG has got a large contingent of swarm hosts on the ground, 19 swarm hosts along with the 9 infestors. We do have a couple of mutas that survived, well actually no, they didn't survive the storms, did they? But they're just a couple of random mutas that PiG has thrown out there. 4 Vipers are now out on the field, sucking up some of the energy from those spine crawlers. And StarNaN has discovered that this base is here, so he's going to push through with a couple of zealots. There are some spine crawlers now building, but they're not going to be up in time. So PiG sends across the swarm host. Locust coming in, mutas also on the way, and it looks as if PiG should save this hatchery for the moment, but for how long? That is the big question, because now that StarNaN is aware of what's going on, he's going to start to push through the middle section of the map. Swarm host burrowing here in the middle. Infestors looking to throw out some fungals, doing a wonderful job of that. We'll see how much the storms of StarNaN can do, because he will need to throw those down if he's going to keep those Templar and the Colossi alive. Locust charging forward. They do have a couple of upgrades ready, +1 on his carapace, +3 on the attack, very similar to the upgrades that StarNaN has. And with the Nexus up and running, we'll see if StarNaN is able to get his economy into a much nicer position right now. But he is mining off of the 3rd base. The 4th up at the top edge here. His main base is just about out of gas, but other than that, PiG is trying to maintain a good solid position here on this map. Phoenix about to go down. Observer is caught in the crossfire there, very unfortunately for StarNaN. But the Corruptors have now come out. There is there a greater spy? Not just as of yet. PiG is just finishing up Fire Carapace level 1, and now we see the Mothership Core switching into a Mothership. So he is going to have that cloaking ability added into his forces. Of course, it doesn't necessarily mean too much when you're dealing with a Zerg player, because there are always lots of Overseers out about the map, and Fungal reveals all of cloaked units and that kind of thing. So PiG, we'll see what he's going to do right now, because this is going to be a very interesting part of the game where we figure out, is PiG going to try and take out some of these outlying bases, or is he just going to try and establish his own set of economy right at this point? So PiG now coming across towards that attempted 5th base of StarNaN. Down at PiG's opposite base on the other end of the map, we can see some zealots charging in here. PiG forced to retreat with his drones. The swarm hosts also retreating out of there as quickly as they can. The swarm hosts just throwing their locusts in there, getting a pretty decent amount of damage, but no real economic damage. So we can see now that StarNaN attempting to engage. The swarm hosts are getting a little bit of lightning down on them. The storms being thrown on top. The infestors coming about. A decent fungal catching a lot of the Colossi there, and even more of the Templar as well. So very nicely handled by PiG. Corruptors coming across. There is almost no opposition in the air to the Corruptors that PiG has, and we can see more units now warping in. StarNaN trying to keep himself in this right now. These zealots have done a wonderful job taking out that base. If they didn't, if they hadn't have killed off that base, then you could possibly say that PiG is just in the strongest position right now. But he's got more swarm hosts coming out. His bank is starting to deplete just because he doesn't have too much mining coming in other than this base here. And things, well, if PiG can sort of hold himself together and maybe secure this base, then he can certainly get an economy established. But StarNaN is looking quite strong at this point. We'll see if StarNaN is able to set up like a battery of cannons out here, because if he can, then he can put himself in a pretty good position, especially with that Mothership Core cloaking up all the buildings. But the Corruptors say, hello Mothership, goodbye Mothership. And despite some storms thrown down by StarNaN, the Corruptors will escape for now. The swarm hosts are ready to get back into the battle as well, but PiG is in trouble. His hatchery down at his 3rd base is now under siege by the zealots. They're just hacking away with their side blades and now charging at the queens. They will have a few spine crawlers poking at them very, very soon. And now, as we can see, PiG is having to deal with threats all over the map. The Colossi have really increased in their count. There are 6 of them out right now. The Templar are a number Templar in quite a lot. Wow, that's like 12 Templar out at this point. It is quite a high count, so he's going to have a lot of storms available. Pig just trying to siege up this base. He needs to get in and do some damage here, because this is going to be very, very much a nail in the coffin if StarNaN can get this up. But Pig is he's lost his hatchery. The drones are long distance mining across to the side. StarNaN has now established his base down here at what is the normal third base, but if he gets that mining, things are looking a little bit grim now. Pig does have so many locusts though, so many swarm hosts though. There are bloody 23 of these guys out on the field right now. That is a lot of locusts to deal with. They are going to try and target down the Nexus, not actually getting that down too far. There is still a little bit of shields left over. Mothership is now coming back yet again for StarNaN. Storm's thrown down. Pig just trying to get what damage done that he can. Infestor gets a fungal off, almost takes care of some of the Templar. They've almost lost all of their shields, but Storms. And as you can see, the Colossus just so efficient in these trades with the low tech and free Locust. But I mean, they're just going to be, you know, it's going to be very hard for Pig to keep up with this. But as you can see, he is going to try and even up the supply count right now. He's at 194, so it's not as if he's completely out of the game right now, but I just a little bit worried about this situation here. His gas is now mined out at the fourth base. His own normal third base is just about, well, it's still long distance mining. And now with the Mothership here, the Cloak is activated on these units, and that means that the Locust cannot do a thing. The Overseer needs to get in range to provide the detection here for Pig, but it is just very difficult to do when you have all these Templar here able to feed back the Overseers. The Stalkers are also here to help out with taking down the Overseer, and he does get it. So the Mothership moves into, well, a really weird sort of position, and Pig is able to throw down. Will he get some fungals on the Templar? He certainly does. He will be able to take out almost all of the Templar. Very nicely done, but the Colossus at the back are still here and firing their extended thermal lances down on all of these units. Wow, beautiful abducts from Pig. He's able to kill off some of the Colossi there. Another abduct. Goodbye, Mr. Colossus. The Templar are being very, very careful right now because StarNaN has actually lost quite a few of his forces. He's about to lose this base. I would think that with this salvo of Locust, he's going to lose that Nexus as they slowly push in. It's interesting to note that the armor upgrades for Pig on the ground is still only at +1 to Carapace, and as he does attempt to get this fifth base up and running, some Zealots will make their way forward and try and take it out. Pig forced to cancel. He has no gas, and no gas coming in. Pig is on his last legs when it comes to gas-based units. Of course, StarNaN, he has suffered quite a few losses here himself. He's lost the Mothership, and 2 times I think we've seen that Mothership go down. A lot of Templar have been killed off by fungal growth, and Pig, he has, well, at least gotten into a position where he can secure this high ground. And I think if Pig can establish this, he can really bring himself back into this. But what I'm really wanting to see is if there is going to be another sort of switch here. If he can get the gas back up, he may be able to switch across into something else. But the swarm hosts here are very powerful, and he's going to slowly start to siege up into the fourth base of StarNaN. And could this be the end of this base for StarNaN? I think it is certainly possible as the Locusts slowly make their way up, but we do have a battle just back where the swarm hosts are. The Colossi firing from across to the side. Stalkers protecting the Colossi for what they can, but the Colossus have all gone down, and StarNaN has lost all of his powerful units here. The Locusts are just powering down all of the units, and Pig may be able to secure this base with StarNaN losing all of his forces on the ground. StarNaN down to 62 supply. And, wow, that was perhaps a very, very shoddy engagement for StarNaN, but, you know, it's difficult to engage into Swarm Hosts. Remaxing now on some, looks like some Lings are going to come out for Pig. If he can maybe get across into this base and take these probes down, he may be able to save this game. Pig is looking to put himself back in a good position here. His hatchery at this, what is this, an attempted 4th or 5th base is now just about to finish up. If he can add in that little bit of gas, he needs to get rid of that assimilator. I don't know what's going on there. But Pig has now moved in. He's cleared out the 4th base. StarNaN has none of his own gas coming in just about. As we can see, the gas count is going to slowly start to decrease. Lings have made their way across the map. Slow Lings. Slow Lings, ladies and gentlemen. The 40-minute mark. Slow Lings. It's quite incredible to see. But drones going to town on this assimilator. It is the one and only time in this DreamHack event you will get to see drones killing an assimilator. But StarNaN trying to make what he can happen with these Stalkers, warping in a few units. He does have a lot of minerals left over. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Boom. It's the only time you're going to get to see that kind of thing. But slowlings just constantly running around. This is crazy. It's like when ants, when their ant hole gets like lots of water and stuff in it, and they're just running around wildly like, ah, I need a parent, I need a parent. But as we can see, StarNaN in a very, very troublesome position right now. He is bounding around with these stalkers, trying to take out what economy of PiG that he can. The drone's coming around to try and take out the zealots before they can finish off the hatchery, but PiG has lots of backup minerals right now. I'm not sure if that was the best idea to sacrifice some of those drones right now, but it looks as if he will come back across with the swarm host. Gonna launch some locusts back into that, and PiG should be able to get that hatchery set back up. Back at home, let's look at the mining. StarNaN on 27 probes right now. The majority of them at this base. In fact, yeah, all of them are just over... Oh, actually, some of them long-distance mining from this position up here on the top right-hand side of the map. So basically, this entire game rests on this hatchery just in here and also this nexus. Basically, these two bases are the big focal points of this game, as both of these players are just fighting to try and maintain a strong position here. PiG just about to finish up some spine crawlers, which are really going to help him out when it comes to the defense of this base. Locusts now making their way across, trying to force back those stalkers. It looks as if StarNaN is going to just try and blink around. He's going to try and avoid those locusts. That's probably the best tactic you can utilize when it comes to dealing with swarm hosts, is try and avoid the locusts if you can, whether it be through fighting up in the air or whether it be through just trying to bound around with something like blink or something to that effect. But now PiG is going to get this hatchery down on the bottom left side, start it up. StarNaN cannot see that one. It looks as if StarNaN is going to try and go around the back here, identifying that some of these drones are long-distance mining. Some spine crawlers have been set up by PiG. The Locust again coming out. A salvo is fired. The Nexus has been killed off, and now PiG is going to have a little bit of trouble here. The Stalker's coming along. The Locust coming back down to try and deal with all of these units, and StarNaN is going to lose all of these units yet again. Wow, is there one Viper out? Yes, there is. A single Viper throws down a blinding cloud, and while PiG will lose some of these Locusts, I think he has saved quite a lot of them. That could have been a lot worse there for the Zerg player. And, well, we can see that PiG is somehow saving this game right now. It's like, I don't know, he's Captain Planet or something like that. He is saving the world for himself, as StarNaN has re-established some semblance of an economy. He's got a few probes down here at this third base. He's got double Colossi now coming out as well, and it looks as if he can maybe get some of those Colossi out, he could be able to get something going here. But StarNaN has now got a Warp Prism coming along, trying to set up some attacks here at this attempted base of PiG, and PiG now getting a huge 200 minerals, 200 gas coming in with his 43 drones. So he is ready to go very soon with his economy. It's quite interesting. I mentioned it very, very early on in the game. No Dark Shrine for StarNaN. If he had a Dark Shrine, he could have killed off this entire base with a single unit, but unfortunately does not have it. Lings have now gotten their speed. Well, they got a little while ago, but it's like a 45 minute Zergling speed there, just your standard sort of timing. Swarm Host trying to move up. He wants to, I think PiG wants to sort of move up to this sort of position here. If he can hold this position, keep StarNaN from taking the base, he doesn't necessarily need to build a hatchery here and sort of get his own mining going, as we can see, the minerals are almost just about out. But if he can hold that and keep StarNaN off that, that is a very precious sort of gas that StarNaN might need. And as we can see, a Viper abducting one of the Colossi. That is very unfortunate for StarNaN. Colossi number 2 goes down. A third one. If this goes down, things are going to be very, very grim for StarNaN right here. Down to 48 supply, 46. Stalkers doing what they can to take out the Corruptors. PiG, unfortunately, a little bit of mismicro there. Some of his Corruptors will go down, but Roaches and Hydras have now been brought in from PiG. A little bit of a lower cost unit than all of those Swarm Hosts, but they are still efficient nonetheless. And a GG from StarNaN. Holy moly. What? I think I need a private moment to deal with that game. Because that